Good morning, everyone, and welcome to my weekly Facebook Live chat with Amy. So excited to have you here today. And I'm especially excited because I have a special guest that's going to be joining me if technology is on our side. So if you're just joining me now, then I would love to hear you say hello and where you're from. And in the meantime, I will be adding Corrina to this. So one moment. Okay, Corrina, if you could just comment below. I think that's how it'll let me invite you. One moment. Connecting. Oh, yay! Awesome. How are you?
I'm good. It's so good to be here. I love it.
Yeah, thank you so much for joining me.
You're welcome.
All the way from Puerto Rico.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so happy to have you here. So Corrina, it's so funny because as soon as I see your face, I'm like, let's just catch up. I'm like, oh wait, we're live. Is that funny? Like my instant reaction is that.
Let's talk, but let's give them something they want, right?
That's right. Okay, so all that being said, see what happens? Like it's all about connection, right?
Yeah.
So we've got a great group of people here, and I wanted to bring Corrina on because she is truly a powerhouse. She's a dear friend of mine. She's a colleague. She came to my powerhouse retreat and got to participate and contribute to the experience. And I thought I would invite Corrina on because she's just someone who is just so dear to me. Like we've become closer over the last, year or two. And what was wild was to see like what unfolded for her even at the Powerhouse Retreat, what she's been up to even leading up to the Powerhouse Retreat. And this isn't just about Powerhouse for sure. I just wanted to really introduce Corrina because she is here on this planet doing a really cool thing. So Corrina, why don't you just, for those who haven't yet had the joy of meeting you, why don't you just share a little bit about yourself?
Okay. Yeah. So, well, thanks again, Amy. It's really awesome. So awesome to do this. And I love seeing all the names popping on. Nadia, Catherine, I saw Megan on there, Kelly. So good to see you all. So yeah, what I'm up to in the world is, I'm really deeply called to activate money and wealth for people on this planet that carry really, really huge missions, to make a big change on the planet. And it's something that I've actually, Amy, I have known since I was a little girl that I was meant to do this. It took a little while for me to discover exactly how I was going to do it. And for a long time, I landed into my purpose. I was what I call activated into my purpose, awakened into multidimensional gifts, clairvoyant, clairsentient, healing gifts. All of that came first. But I still was like, okay, but how do I reach people? And, it was after a near-death experience, giving birth to my son, that actually all landed in. And that was the final chapter of my awakening. And what happened after that was, the message was it's all about the money. Who owns the money on the planet impacts the planet, owns the planet essentially. And as someone who is all about living from the heart and felt, like I said, my whole life knowing that I'm deeply meant to be here. Hi, Carrie. So good to see you. Love to you. That I'm all about love and light. I mean, just to be totally plain and simple about it. And that my job on the planet is to liberate that money and that wealth for others that have a calling in their heart, who it's so deep, it's so big, and yet haven't gained, let's just say, enough of that wealth. Haven't figured out how to embody money as love. That's what I call it. And so I teach you how to do that. I both activate you into your wealth, which is your soul's wealth, and then teach you how to embody and have the mindset of money as love.
I love this. Okay, so I know that a lot of people who are watching right now are very purpose-driven entrepreneurs. Like when I talk to these entrepreneurs, the first thing that they say to me is, I just want to help people. And at the same time, they know in order to be able to really devote their time to helping people, they need and get to receive this wealth and abundance into their life. So, when you talk about love is money, could you break that down a little bit for us?
Yeah. So it really, what I say, one really basic thing, I love to say this, is that your money is in your heart. So if you're struggling at all with money, like, you don't have enough money in your bank account, you are having trouble paying your bills, or maybe it's just that you want to reach into a really stretchy new level of your influence, you know, because I also work with entrepreneurs who are like, I've reached this capacity and I want to go to the next, but it will require a large amount of investment and wealth. So I always say, go back to your heart first. And there's this thing that, you know, most human beings, we walk around actually with an energetic divide in our hearts that I call the separation of the heart. We're separated. I mean, we're separated from one another. We're separated from the love that we can exchange with one another. And this, Amy, I know you really relate to, because that's part of deep connection, right? Is actually to get reconnected first with yourself and then connect with other human beings heart to heart. And so if in any space in you, you have difficulty doing that, then you're in the separation of the heart. And what I teach people to do is then how to come into unifying the heart inside of you, the love inside of you, so you can return back. And it is actually a reciprocal relationship with money. Money will also flow along those love lines. It'll flow along the love lines. And that's really how you. And what I love about this is it's really what I call a new wealth consciousness. I actually call it the new code. And it's that money comes through the heart. It is not, you know, out of fear. It is not out of manipulation or greed. And, you know, and in order to embody that, it really begins with the heart.
Absolutely. I love that we're talking about this, Corrina, because, you know you and I just, we both, you know, we talk about, you know, I know sometimes we use different languaging, but the power of deep connection. Yeah. And so how would you say that you use the power of deep connection, like, to really amplify your message out there in the world?
Right. Well, you know, the power of deep connection, it's about authentic connection. I mean, first of all, I always, one of the things that happened for me when I went through my near-death experience was not only to get deeply connected, certainly with myself and my life, and but it was, you know, there was a nurse, actually no, it was the OB in the room, who we had a disagreement with during my, you know, in one of my prenatal appointments. And, you know, her view of, you know, birth was a lot more medical and mine was a lot more holistic. And I share this story because we actually, like, I was angry with her. She had upset me during that appointment, and it was a vulnerable moment. I'm very pregnant and she was trying to push me into something. And well, she ended up being the surgeon who saved my life. And in order for me to go into that surgery when I was, you know, bleeding internally and losing my vital signs and, you know, just going, and I discovered it was going to be her, I quickly went into, this is the woman that's going to save my life. And I forgave her. I forgave her for, you know, where I separated us. I forgave her for her opinion. I forgave her of her critique of me. And then these waves of love just began. So, you know, that story, you know, the reason I'm sharing that story is that's deep connection, right? Like,
yeah, definitely.
Every single human being you encounter in your life is with you for a purpose. And truly that purpose is love. It's love. And you know, in my business, you know, I always connect, like, who's in my life right now, or what is, whether it's a loving feeling going on or one that feels challenging or resistant experience. I actually speak right into that, and I get to the heart and soul of what is that connection about. I write my emails from there. I do my Facebook Lives from that space. I connect with my clients from that space. And, you know, Amy, you can attest that, you know, working with you and going through the Powerhouse experience, and, you know, Amy, everyone has just this gift for, you know, email communication and email copy, which simply means, like, she knows how to walk you through the steps of deeply connecting with your audience and deeply connecting with those that you serve. Well, using Amy's framework, you know, I was able to take the heart and the essence that I am and very easily put that into, you know, my emails. And, you know, one of many results has been, you know, I mean, one of my emails is we put in the, you know, message for this Facebook Live. I mean, it yielded a $20,000 client. And, you know, honestly, like, when you ask me, you know, what have been the results, like, it's almost hard to, I mean, that's a tangible result. And at the same time, there's this ripple that happens. Right? There's this ripple that happens when you connect from the heart and you deeply connect to one another's humanness that absolutely results in money. And at the same time, it results in just a wider, deeper connection to what you serve and the purpose you're about. Like your influence will grow. It will grow infinitely, in fact. So
Totally.
anyhow, I hope that story helps, you know, because I know that everyone, you know, we all encounter difficult circumstances or maybe someone that we like want to shut out. But in fact, like that's the room and the space to grow not only your love, but it actually will grow your wealth.
Yeah, definitely. You know, and I love what you're talking about here because I mean, there's so much we can unpack here, you know, in terms of, I oftentimes will hear entrepreneurs saying like, well, I just don't know how to break through. Like, I don't know what's wrong with me, you know, like, who am I to think I can do this? And one of the things that I know that, you know, I kind of share this message in our own ways, just like, if you just focus out, like if you just focus on building a deep connection with every single human being you meet and connect with, and focus on helping them. Like I had a message come through me this morning that I shared with my team that just in a moment I just stopped, you know, and it just said,
yeah,
just help. Also about empowering others. So my point is like, for those of you who are wanting to really have that next big breakthrough in your businesses and really attract your ideal clients, not just clients, but your ideal clients who you absolutely love working with, that you're such a perfect fit, just drop into your heart. Like I can actually feel myself when I drop in and go, okay, I'm here to make a difference. And if I just focus on making a difference and helping each person that I connect with, then there will always be a percentage of those people that will go further with me, you know?
That's right.
So,
that's right.
So, and I know that you and I have been kind of in this like really great flow, really, it's like 2018 has been the most powerful experience so far. So can you speak into like, I know that you've also had a really great first quarter, right? So we've been rocking out our first quarters. And I know that part of what you and I have been chatting about, even offline, has been about how we've both been in flow and ease and love, and not this tension that I'll admit, like at one point I was so attached and like coming from a scarcity place when I first launched my business, and fear around money, like I don't have enough money. What if I don't make enough sales? So can you speak into what has attributed to you being able to, you know, even have a six-figure first quarter?
Right. Yeah. So, you know, there's a lot of things that are working for me. You know, part of that has come after a year of, you know, really great business and at the same time, a lot of growth. And well, I'll just say non-attached, you know, getting to a space of really non-attached as you described. But the leading principle, you know, I declared this year, one of the things I teach, not only that money is love, but money is God. I decided I was just going to go there because sometimes in my past, I've been hesitant to use that so strongly. It is actually the highest vibration of money that we can embody. And I declared that. I said, it's a money as project, you know, filling my program, my Wealth Consciousness Academy. And it's beyond me. It's bigger than me. And it's more than me. I simply have a role to play. And I was really clear about my role. I mean, my role is to serve. It really is. You know, it's just as you said, Amy, like serve and help. And to stand for people really strongly when I know that they're meant to be, you know, in this collaboration with me and embodying their wealth consciousness. And, you know, ultimately that's what did it, because it's a consciousness, you know, money as God. Now, how did that look in terms of business? You know, first in just leading my team, you know, to really not about them, but that I had to ensure that we were all in the same vision. You know, when you have your team in a shared with you, like things just flow. Like you said, they flow. And, you know, we've had some moments, but, you know, still getting beyond those moments, check, like when you have a vision, you come back to the vision. And so I'd say to any entrepreneur that's on here that's looking to increase your sales, first of all, really claim, you know, money is love and money is God, because the more you let that work on you, it's in activation. You can say like a mantra, write it, you know, money is love, write it next to your sales goals. You know, money is love, money is God. And when you feel yourself going into a space of attachment or scarcity, come back to that, come back to center, and then come back to your vision. You know, and then because of that, it also meant I just was deeply committed, you know, committed to my vision. In the past, I may have said, well, this is enough, right? It's enough, because I am in overflow, right? And it's not about, I don't need more money, you know, not that at all. But this is the thing, when you have a higher vision and you're working on a God project, it's about the God project. And it's not done until that's complete. And so being aware of that can completely shift and take you out of the struggle of money or the struggle of sales, because not only do you know you have like all this support on you, but you stop making it personal, and really serve, and you will go the distance.
I love this. So, okay. So one of the things that I really want to hold on to for, first of all, this, you know, money is love, money is God. And I always want to honor each belief system. If it's source, universe, spirit, you know, just I honor you. And I always believe that all of this is beyond business. I know a lot of my clients continue to hear me say that all the time. It's beyond business. Absolutely. And if we're here and just focusing down, like, I need this and I have to make money and I'm so stressed. It's like, that energy is what's being reflected back to you, you know? And so, and I feel that because I have certainly been there. I know Corrina's been there. And I know we're so passionate about helping other people who are here to make a difference, to lift you up. So, you know, one of the things that, that I'm hearing you say, Corrina, is that if you just expand yourself out of this thought of, I'm stressed about money and it's limited and it's like this tight thing I need to hold on to, instead say, you know, it's not even my money. It's like, you know, either source, spirit, God, universe, like the money. Because think about it, like we didn't have money when we were born into this world, you know, like, I mean, maybe the people around you had money, maybe your parents had money, that kind of thing, but you're born as this sweet baby in this human being experience, and you grow into this fabulous entrepreneur. For those of you watching, I'm sure you're all entrepreneurs or would like to be entrepreneurs. And it's like this, to me, the money is energy, you know, it's flowing through us. And it's like, it's ever abundant, right? So at the same time, I can sense right now that someone's watching and it's like, yeah, but Amy, Corrina, you don't understand. You don't understand my circumstances. You don't understand what I'm going through right now. And I may not know your exact circumstances, but what I do know for sure is that it wasn't until I shifted internally that things shifted externally, no matter the circumstances, right? So everyone has these different circumstances. So Corrina, what would you say to that person who's just like, either they're stressed about money or they're like, gosh, I'm plateauing and I don't know what's wrong with me. What would you say to that person?
Right. So the first thing that, you know, I just go back to when I've been in those circumstances. I mean, many, many years ago, I was in, you know, we could call them desperate circumstances, survival. You know, really struggling to pay bills, on food stamps, just in that struggle. And one of the things that even in those moments, it actually always helped me, and I always had, and I invite anyone that may be in a situation like that, I always knew that I was safe. And I want to share that with you because that is actually true. No matter what, you are safe. No matter what is in your bank account, you are seen, you are heard, and you are included in the universe, on this planet, in the human family. You're actually not alone. And if you can get yourself into a space of, gosh, this might be happening for a reason, because it is, because I get to grow, I get to become more, and maybe this is happening because I actually get to value myself more, or I get to grow my vision, or I get to stretch myself. You know, opening yourself up to the why, and I'll tell you, that answer will come if you're open to it, if you're asking. What you'll discover, as I did in those moments when I remember being in my like car and like outside the bank and having to go in and like to have a heavy conversation with the bank and not wanting to do it. But I remember the shift. And it was like, no matter what happens in this conversation, I'm still okay.
That is so good.
Yeah. And then the answer to why I'm needing to have this conversation or why this is happening will come. And just that belief, if you can increase like 10 to 20% believe that there's a reason behind it, and you'll receive the answer, and you'll shift, right? And you may not have an immediate shift with your money, but you will have a shift internally. And then that financial shift will come with it. It always does. It always does. And so then you'll get to tell the story. Then you'll get to tell the story.
Exactly. I know. Whenever somebody's going through a tough time, I'm like, guess what? This is just a part of your story. You know, like this is a story that on the other side of it, if you're committed to overcoming what you're in right now, This is the story that you might share on a Facebook Live. You might share on a stage in front of, you know, thousands of people. I mean, there are times when I've actually shared a story on a stage where I was like, you know, I remember even being in the thick of something and saying, I look forward to the day that I get to share this story, you know, because I will be on the other side of it. I look forward to the day when I get to share this story. It was so powerful.
Exactly.
You know, one thing I wanted to share also is that I know that you and I both know Tracy Campoli, you know, dear friend of mine, and she's an incredible entrepreneur as well. And she also says that when she prays, and again, prayer, meditation, I honor everybody. She said she prays to God and she says what she is calling forward. So say she's in an enrollment time frame for her group coaching program, and that week she's like, you know, I am calling forward 5 women this week to enroll my program. And then she says, what would you like me to know? And then she's in silence. I was like, oh, that's good. Right? like, you know, in meditation, what would you like me to know? And then just drop in and listen. And then whatever you're meant to hear, like, you know, whatever you're meant to hear, whether it like allowed to happen or you know, maybe somebody's name will pop up in your head. Like one of the things that I shared with Corrina, we're in a mastermind together. And so I shared with Corrina and others in our little mastermind. I said, one of the things that I love to do for like organic outreach is to, instead of like, you know, oh, I've got to come up with my new online marketing funnel with 20 different steps and a tripwire. It's like, okay, calm down. Right? Like, it doesn't have to be so complicated. You don't have to wait until everything online digitally is like this fancy big thing. Like I was in the, you know, I was making like, I remember having my first $15,000 month before I even had a really great website or even an email list or anything. It was about, first of all, just really creating a wonderful offering that you believe in. And then here's what I shared. I just want to share this really quick because I feel like there's, again, someone on here that's wanting to hear this, is to step away from the computer, step away from the phone, and just quiet your mind and just say, who do I believe my offering, my program, my coaching will make a difference for? And just sit in silence until one person's name or face pops up in your mind. And then write it down, write that person's name down. And then keep writing names down until you don't have anything that's coming to you in that moment. You can still come back to this exercise. And then go to your contacts list, and then go to your Facebook friends, and then ask people to say, hey, I have spots open in this such and such offering. If you or someone you know, just continuously make this list, and then smile and dial, you know, to say you came to my mind. I'm telling you, like, it's funny how people are like, what's the secret to like breaking through to multiple 6 figures or going into like your 7-figure plan? I'm like, I always come back to this very like basic step process of, who do you believe your offering will make a difference for? And be generous enough to take time to think about them, to hold them in your heart, and to call them, you know?
You know, and here's the thing that's beautiful about that, Amy. You know, I always say, like, your future self already has this all lined up for you. Mm-hmm. And not only lined up for you, but also those individuals that you're hearing their names or your feet presence, or maybe they a message or a Facebook message. They're already lined up too. And it's really, sometimes it's about breaking through your resistance stuff, which is about personal. And I'm really willing to do this, like take the step and break through my resistance and not make it about me, but making it about this other human being. Because when you do that, you're actually activating your destiny. You're activating your destiny, and you're activating their destiny. It's an incredible divine synchronicity and really a divine design that's at work.
Totally. Oh, so good.
Yeah.
So, Corrina, I'm going to shift gears for a second here because I know that you also have this really cool experience coming up. Do you mind sharing a little bit with everybody what that is?
Yeah. So, you know, one of the things that, you know, so funny. I love this story. Again, following the signs. So I have called the 7-day wealth transformation that up until very recently, I've actually only given to my clients. It's a part of my program. It's also that has yielded some really big, you know, miracles and impact for people. And I started, you know, giving that to a few of my colleagues, mastermind with me, and, you know, gifting it to them. And they were getting some amazing results. And it was actually our colleague Jackie Cote who said, "Oh my God, you need to get this out into the world." To be honest, like it wasn't that I was keeping it. It didn't occur to me, you know, it hadn't become a priority. And so anyhow, I just followed the signs. Like this is meant for others. It's meant to have a bigger impact. And so we put it together, and you know, we're offering it now. We're offering it, and it's 7 days of activating your wealth. And actually, I take you through what I call the 4 new money codes, and you receive those activations. And I also teach you how to shift your mindset to embody money as love, money as truth, money as God, and money as service. So yeah, that's what we have coming up.
That's so great. I love this. And I invite everybody to grab this because it's not every day that you have access to someone like Corrina that is so connected in with her soul and also the planet. Like she's up to such a big game, like beyond words. And, and
7 days.
no, totally. I know. I was seeing my name pop up and I'm like, I think somebody on my team is like typing in for me. So
awesome.
I'm everywhere.
Awesome.
Yeah. That's awesome. So, okay. So I see
I'll share, you know, because part of it, Amy, that happens with this. I mean, I've had some real miracle stories, which, you know, I mean, a client of mine, Sunny, when she first did it, she was about to be homeless, a very well-educated woman in New York City, and, you know, couldn't pay her rent. And she completed it. And then very quickly, she actually inherited a lot of money and wealth and property. And then she became a client because she needed to really understand how to embody that wealth. So, you know, that's just one amazing story. But other folks, you know, like Jackie did it on day 2, like it broke a dry spell she was having with new clients, and she got a new client in the door from a totally unexpected place. You know, I have many stories of that. You know, it tends to be, and this is true, like we think linear, like my money is going to come this way or from this sale or this client. When you really get activated into your soul's wealth, it comes from these unusual, unexpected ways. And that's what's really fun about the 7-day wealth transformation.
Yeah, I so resonate with this, Corrina. I believe that when you're open to it and when you're clear, then the abundance will come to you from both expected and unexpected sources. You know, it's just, I totally get that. And I remember the first time I heard something around that, I was like, what? And then it happens. Like I remember being in a moment where I literally was like, you know, paying bills. I was in a really stressful place in my mindset and my being, and I was short $1,200 to pay my bills. Like it was the first time in my life where I just couldn't see past in my head. I was just in a place, right? Yeah. I was like, God, I just wish and pray that $1,200 could come into my life overnight. And there's a part of me is like, yeah, right. Yeah. And the next morning, I wake up and this was years ago. I was hosting an event, and I had these ticket sales that were slowly happening. You know, I coordinated my own event, and 2 tickets had sold overnight. So that was like a little over $200. Wow. And then a woman sent me an email. She sent it like 5 a.m. and she said, "Hi, Amy. You know, it was this woman that I'd helped out of generosity, like 6 or 8 months before then. I'd helped her out of generosity to help market her business when she didn't have any money. I was like, let me just help you." Yeah. And I did, you know, I helped her put on a workshop and all this stuff. Yeah. And she wrote me this email and said, "Amy, I just got paid for a speaking engagement that I did. And I just wanted to let you know that I have a little bit of money for you. It's not very much, but I'm leaving it in an envelope under my mat on my doorstep." Like she's a neighbor, right? So like she lives like 5 minutes away. So I'm like, okay, so I drive over to her house, okay? Yeah. And I'm like, great, it'll probably be like, you know, $100, you know, something like I was excited, right? I was
thinking it's $100. Yeah, that's not much.
Right. Yeah. I opened it up, this big yellow envelope. She hand wrote this beautiful card, you know, and I'm reading it. I'm like, oh, it's so nice. And I flip over the check and it's $1,000. Wow. And I sat in my car and I cried. Like I remember being in that moment because I was like, oh my gosh, overnight, $1,245 came into my life. It was exactly what I wanted, and I let go. Like I got clear with what I was hoping and praying for, and I was like, I didn't think it was going to happen, and it was so unexpected. Like the amount too, it was just wild. So I totally believe
exact amount. It happened. You know, Amy, I mean, this happens in my community all the time. Carmen, a client of mine, last weekend manifested $13,000 at the casino Well, what's
Yeah.
wild about that, because like, don't we all dream of that? You know, walk in the casino, win money. Well, I have this challenge going on in that group, which this month was to manifest miracle money. And she was in resistance about it. She was like, I've done this so many times. I just don't want to name a number. Corrina, tell me what the number is. So I tuned in and I said $13,000. And she got to work on it in an expected way through business, and like it didn't happen. And then she walked into that casino, and her and her husband won $13,000 last weekend. So cool! It's the coolest story. So awesome. I love it. But this is
not
fun,
that we're telling everybody to go gamble, but
yeah, I know, right? I know, it's a funny story like that. But I think this is the point. You know, if you're in that place of I need money, like the need, right? First, let it go. But the second is like, make it fun. If you can make it into a game, I always say this, become a detective to your wealth. Because the clues are there, the doors are there. And the more you can become light about it in that way, it actually does become really.
There's like, listen to Amy, she says, let it be easy, let it be fun. I'm like, yeah, let it be easy, let it be fun. Take the pressure off. And think about like this, you know, every once in a while I'll do a week where I'll say that my powerhouse community and my team, I'm like, what would make this week a miracle? What would make this week a miracle for you? And really get clear about it. You know, what would be a miracle? Something's a little out of your comfort zone or a lot out of your comfort zone. I mean, there's been times when I've just like put something really crazy, stretchy out there. I'm like, what if it were possible? What if it did happen?
Because there are no limits. There's actually no limits.
There aren't. It's all here and here, you know?
Exactly. Yep.
Awesome. Well, Corrina, this has been so much fun. Thank you so much for joining me and just being the gift that you are in the world. I feel so blessed to know you and to have you in my journeys as well. And now all of you have gotten to experience Corrina. So I know we've popped in the link. I also will be sending an email out to you today, to all of you today, with the information on Corrina's 7-day wealth. I want to make sure I'm saying it right. Wealth consciousness.
Wealth transformation. 7-day
wealth transformation. Sorry about that.
Yep.
It's wealth transformation. Plus 7 is my lucky